All right, it is 7:01 and I'm calling this meeting to order. I will share my screen again and we will move to the agenda.
Are
And
you recording or did you need? Oh, you just did. Okay, got it. So sorry.
the first item on the agenda is accepting the 13 July minutes, which Maria posted up on the G Drive. And she's actually using a new format, which is kind of cool. All of the minutes for all of the meetings for this term are in a single document with the most recent on top, which is convenient in case you want to go look at the 13 July. Does anybody have anything uh, that they want to suggest that we change about those minutes? I will mention that I did change one thing. The deadline for responding on the sexual harassment is not the 1st of September, it's the date of the business meeting in September, which I can't remember what it is, but we moved it back. I think it's like the 14th or something like that.
The minutes are where I'm looking in WakeLP. Is it administration, elections, events, finance,
That's a good question.
logos?
I think it's administration. I think there's a
All
meeting
right, I'll keep
under
going there. Yeah, there we go. It's under meetings. It looks like business meetings.
Yeah, right.
Still
So,
drilling down, still drilling.
well, I've actually
And
displayed it on my screen, so
got it. Found
uh,
it.
okay,
Perfect.
cool. So you can see that there's chapters in this document. You can flip directly to the meeting that you want.
Yeah, no, looks good. Getting
All
used to it.
right. So everybody's happy with these, right?
Let's see. So 1 June, or
You don't have to
these are the
look.
July
We're
minutes.
just looking at
Thanks.
July. That's right.
Yep, I'm just taking 2 seconds to glance, Brad. You're making
Okay.
me do it, so I'm gonna do it.
Sounds like a plan.
Uh, did you ever work out that issue for reports for U and D for D's filing as lieutenant governor?
We're working on it. She's been in communication with them and she's creating a waiver request for the fine or the fines, actually. There's two of them. And she was supposed to send me a draft this weekend. Well, it's not over yet. I might still get it.
Yep, all right, I'm good.
All right. No objections being heard. We will approve those minutes. Now for my report. Okay, so the North Carolina General Assembly long session sort of continues, or I'm not sure. Maybe it's a short session now. It's confusing because you have 2026 too. But in any event, we, being myself and Ryan Brown, met with Aaron Paré and Luke Stansel, who is essentially the cat herder for the caucus for the Republican Party for the House side of the Republican North Carolina General Assembly. And I put a detailed report in Mattermost, which you may or may not have read, depending on your level of interest in what happened. But I would just say the big takeaway is that Ryan Brown made a big impression in taking enough votes away from the Republican candidate in Granville to basically eliminate the Republican supermajority in the House by allowing a Democrat to win. He got, four times as many votes as the difference between the two of them. And it's a red leading county. And he ran way to the right of the Republican on Second Amendment. So there's no way to prove that he caused that to happen, but everyone believes it, which is the important thing. Perception is reality. So they were basically angling to persuade us that, their hearts are in the right place and they're going to get the constitutional carry and several other things over the vetoes. And they have, gotten some vetoes overridden, but not that particular one. Um, and let's see. Nope, there's still no takers. I'm just going to can I remove these guys? Nope, I can't remove them. All right, forget about it. Oh, it wants me to. Oh my don't be
Just keep rolling.
too complicated.
Yeah,
Trying
you're
to
recording
remove
it.
these. Yeah,
It's just gonna be an email afterwards. It's not even worth it.
yeah.
It's an email that'll go to me, you, and Steve or something.
Remove, don't report. All right, we're done. So, So that's the takeaway there. And it was a very pleasant conversation. And so far, they haven't done anything that we really, we were really interested in. The main things we were interested in are on the state's side, they prioritize Second Amendment, the constitutional carry. On our side, we were interested mostly in 370. So, speaking of the status of 370, let me flip over here. I've created this handy chart that is posted in somewhere on the G Drive. I can't remember where exactly, but I put the link in Mattermost of bills that we care about. And you guys are, have access to this. You're welcome to add stuff if I've missed anything. So these are the ones that I have anyway. HB 541 is a relatively new bill. I shouldn't say new. It was filed back in March, but it's hasn't advanced very far, not surprisingly, because it proposes putting instant runoff voting in place as an option for all party primaries, so that you would have, if you're the Republican Party, you'd have the option, race by race, of electing to use IRV or not. So, I mean, it would be great for us, for example, for our presidential preference primary, where we have, a dozen candidates typically on the ballot. It'd be great to have an IRV, and actually, that way we might get a result of somebody besides Noda winning. So, um, anyway, it is the methodology that was used the only time we've used instant runoff voting in North Carolina, which was the first time that a ranked choice voting statewide race was run in the United States. That was the 2010 appellate court uh, judge race. And the way it works, they did have 13 candidates in that race, in fact. And the way it works is that the top two make it into the second round, and all the others are eliminated, however many there are. In this case, it would be 11. And the votes for those 11 other candidates are then reallocated to one or the other of the remaining candidates, presuming that the voter selected them as one of their choices. And I think you're allowed to vote for three. So it's not strict ranked choice voting, but it's a variant of ranked choice voting. Certainly better than what we have now. Um, because the main thing is you end up with the winner getting a majority, which doesn't happen, necessarily under plurality voting. So that's where that is. It's basically in the Rules Committee. It hasn't moved. It's not going to move, but that's what that is. The electoral reform bill is the one that the Democrats are all up in arms about. It does have some pretty horrible stuff in it, but it has some of the horrible stuff has been either removed or made less horrible. One of the horrible things that hasn't been removed is the ban on ranked choice voting, which is completely performative because no one can use ranked choice voting without the permission of the NCGA anyway. So banning it would have zero practical effect. In any event, that's still in the Rules Committee. Has
What
not.
what practical things does it do? Can we define horrible? What does it
Yeah.
actually do? I mean, like, say you just said horrible and did a wave, and I know you
Yeah.
mentioned the
Okay.
thing that you're
Okay.
concerned
Okay.
about
If
personally,
you
but what does
stop
it really
talking, I
do?
will answer your
I
question. The most horrible thing that it does is that it basically turns a variable number. It was a huge number of jobs at the North Carolina State Board of Election from being professional, nonpartisan, to being political appointees by whatever party is in power. So basically, if the Republicans in power, which they are now, you would have, I think it was the initial proposal was 25 of the 60 positions would be converted to political appointees, which is
okay.
a really bad idea. I think it's down to six now. So it's only like 10%. Still a bad idea, but not as bad. And there are other things relating to the election officials are not allowed to encourage people to vote. So there's no get out the vote campaigns allowed by the Board of Elections. And there's two or three other things. They're, not huge, universal, world-changing things, but basically moving, in a stupid or actually bad direction. Although less so, as I said, than it was like 3 weeks ago. Of course, that's always subject to change and go in the other direction too. Anyway, it's still in the Rules Committee in the House. Constitutional carry, as we know, passed both houses and was vetoed, and it's been overridden by the Senate. It is on the calendar of the House for 26 August, so we'll see. They may take another pass at trying to override. Um, David, you want to talk to SB 55?
So just very quickly, SB 55 originally came out as a wireless cell phone, not in schools for kids type bill. At some point, somebody gutted it apparently, and it is very good for property owners. It's basically allows expedited resolution of evictions. Not doesn't maybe finish some of the legal stuff, but basically the example in other states have been squatters that landlords can't get out. So if you have two or three rental properties and you can't get somebody out of one of them for 2, 3, and 4 months, you end up losing significant amounts of income. Uh, Having a brother who does small rentals like this, certainly I can understand the appeal and the value. So it passed. It's the law. It's a net win for people who own rental properties that have people that just sort of, even just in some states, I guess the example is people would just move into a place without even having anything signed, whatever. It's just very difficult in some areas to get those people off of a property, even though they have no legal right to be there anymore. So I was pretty excited to see this one popped off. Wasn't on my radar. And I just noted it at one point, and there it is. So good news for all.
And just a couple of comments. It did pass. I think it was unanimous in the Senate, 49 to nothing. And the vote in the House was lopsided. There were like 8 people who voted against it, like 120 in favor, something like that. And of course, the governor did sign it. And David and I are working together to try to figure out whom to thank for this. It's a little complicated because of the gut and replace maneuver that was pulled off, but we don't want to let it pass without expressing our happiness at this bill, which is clearly very congruent with libertarian
Yeah.
principles. So
I think a very generic email to all of the Wake County NCGA members, Senate and House, just thanking them uh,
the ones
for
who voted
passing.
for it, that is.
I would send it to all of them, and then the one who didn't vote for it would be able to make note of that.
All
Uh,
right, that
you
sounds
know, I
reasonable.
you could say I thank you all for, whatever it was, 18 to 1 or whatever, supporting this very important bill that
Yeah.
protects
All right, that's a good
small
idea.
landlords
Okay.
in this
All right.
Wake
So you're
County.
going to write something up, right?
I suppose I can work on that at some point this evening. Yes.
Cool.
So we're looking for a short email for that,
Yeah,
right?
short
Okay,
email.
just
Absolutely.
something to get their attention.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Just let them know we're here. And SB 370 is the certificate of need thing, which passed the Senate, still languishing in the Rules Committee of the House. So, any questions about that?
No,
All right. Back to our July events and meetups. We did have our certificate of need event on the 16th of July. It was modestly successful in the sense that we didn't have an embarrassingly small crowd. I think we had about 21 people there, which is about half what we did a year ago at our last one that we did, which was the surveillance camera event. Um, but based on the RCPs, I was thinking we were going to get fewer, so I was happy to see that many. And the presenter wasn't great, but he was okay. His presentation was really good. He wasn't not the it was not the best presentation I've ever seen from John Locke, but it was definitely in the right direction, and I think moved things forward in terms of our folks knowing what's involved with certificate of need, which will be helpful if we get to the point of needing more people to talk to, legislators or whatever. So I felt it was a good event. Um, our meetups were a little bit better in July than they were in June in terms of attendance. I think we had 5 people this last Wednesday, including Martin Matashevsky, who was a candidate who ran for us back in 2018, who's now a lawyer working for a firm in Charlotte remotely. He's still living in Nightdale. So it was good to see him. And the ad campaign update is that the ads are out. I think they started Monday. And of course, I'm not under 30 and don't listen to iHeartRadio anyway. So I haven't actually heard any of them, but according to Rob, they are percolating, and there I think there's three flavors. There's a Mecklenburg flavor, a Wake flavor, and a generic state flavor that plays everywhere else other than in Mecklenburg and Wake. So we'll have to see if we get any kind of a bump from that. Sean posted his treasurer report. We have 3,500 bucks. A thousand of that is spoken for. We have a check outstanding to LPNC. That's actually in my bag. I need to stop by BB or Truist and deposit that check for the into the LPNC account, which I just haven't gotten around to doing. So that's really no change from last month. Future events. So I have a call into a guy that I know at NC State to ask for advice with respect to finding someone who might be able to address the impact of AI on future employment for North Carolina with respect to high tech specifically. Um, and that's as far as I've gotten on that. I don't know, David, have you made any action in the direction of figuring out what to do for that?
Oh, for the AI tech jobs, was that one on my radar?
Well, it was your idea, not necessarily on
Okay.
your radar. I just wondering. Probably the answer is no. Okay, that's no
Yeah.
problem. Yeah. So, if anybody has any inkling or ideas, though, don't be shy.
Okay.
Um, yeah, prepping for a dollar meltdown probably would be a 2026 thing. Crypto is still, as on the list of things that we might talk about at some point in time. It occurs to me that it might be possible to meld crypto with prepping for a dollar meltdown, which um, could be considered a bait and switch. I don't know. I have to think about that, but that might be a possible hook. We're still waiting for Phil to make it to a meetup to talk to us about Bend Towards Justice. And David and Ken, I think we're going to work on a shooting event.
Oh, were we?
Yeah, I
Let me write down an actual task.
think we had talked about that.
Put some meat on the bones. Nope. You give me some dates. You look at your calendar right now, Brad, and you give me the dates that you would like to attempt to have this.
I'm thinking it should be a weekend. I mean, any
Yeah. Well,
weekend, whatever
before or
works.
after fair, not any weekend. Come on, Brad.
Okay, not
Let's
the
be
state
honest here.
fair. That's true.
We not during the state fair. You need to have it advertised a month
Okay,
out. So look at
I'll give you a list of weekends.
give me 2 or 3 weekends or 2 or 3 weekends, and I'll go over to
Yeah,
On Point
we'll
and
do.
sit with them. And what are we thinking? Number of people would be what?
I have no idea, but I would think at least a half a dozen, hopefully
I'm gonna
more.
I'm gonna say 8 to 12.
All right, that sounds
Eight to
reasonable.
12 people, and we would want a Saturday.
Yes, I think a Saturday would work best.
Okay. Is there a preferred time you would want to do this? Like 1 to 3?
Sounds good.
Okay. And so we would shoot for an hour, hour and a half, and then possibly go to lunch somewhere nearby. With 8 to 12, we probably don't need to coordinate that in advance. Is that fair?
Sounds good.
All right. I will write up what an event would look like
And I
per
will give you
se.
dates. Three
Give me
Saturdays, probably in
three,
September.
yeah, last half of September into October, but certainly not too close to State Fair.
Correct. All
Done.
right.
All right.
Excellent. Speaking of state fair, we are going to undertake to do the state fair since we don't have a lot of candidates, like zero, running this year to worry about. So because of the situation with Ryan and Dee, and I'm not sure if that's going to be anywhere resolved. There apparently they did do some the LPNC did something at their recent meeting. I'm not really sure about the details. But they're still refusing to coordinate, with what dates they can be. Anyway, I'm not counting on either one of them. So I asked Susan Hogarth to come out of retirement and help me to manage this year, and she's agreed to do that. So we're covered, basically, is the bottom line. On to new business. Okay, the National Fair Representation Act is a kind of anti-gerrymandering thing on a national level. It's got no chance of passing. I think it's out of our lane, actually. But somebody asked me to put it on. I can't even remember who asked me to do this now. Somebody asked me to put it on to consider whether we should officially endorse it or not. I mean, gerrymandering reform is one of the things we'd like to see. It's a pipe dream here in North Carolina also, though, so I don't really put a lot of emphasis on it other than, when talking to the right audience. Does anybody feel differently? Should we?
I think it's got zero chance. I mean, it's just one of those things like saying you don't want babies to have cancer. So, I mean, I think there's I think broadly many people agree that gerrymandering is bad. But as long as we are in the current world that we live in, I don't see that changing. Certainly not in North Carolina. Uh, I guess we should just be happy that North Carolina is probably as tapped out as it can be, congressional seats wise. So unlike Texas and California and other states that could uh, mangle their maps even further.
So our
Um,
Constitution says that the districts are to be drawn after the census and then not again, not changed again in between. But it actually, I looked at it more closely, and it only applies to the North Carolina General Assembly districts. It doesn't even mention the congressional districts in the Constitution.
well,
So
but it's also clear from the last time they did it, though, they've already done the best job they can with the congressional districts.
yeah, right.
They
So
being
it's
the
not much of a
Republicans,
danger. Yeah,
they've already maxed it out, so to speak. So
right. Yeah, probably. Okay. Candidate survey project. So where that is that I have uploaded all of the 105 candidates, including 25 who are running in either Durham or Angier, but there's parts of Durham and parts of Angier that exude into Wake. So it's really 80 candidates, 80 Wake County candidates. Anyway, they're all in the database and putting some improvements into the record information on these candidates, but there's no reason why we can't send the email out, which David Blackwelder has approved, to ask them to fill out the world's smallest political quiz by way of indicating an interest in being noted by us if we like what they say. So at this point, uh, Dee has indicated to me that she's not able to continue as volunteer coordinator. She's just got too much on her plate. She is willing to follow up with the Kerry candidates, though, when we get to the point of talking to them. So I've asked David B to help me out on recruiting volunteers to do that. What we want to do is, there's nobody running in Raleigh, so it really doesn't make sense for, me or David you to be calling candidates and talking to them because they're all people that we're not constituents of. We'd like to have, somebody from Garner call the Garner candidates and somebody from Zebulon call the Zebulon candidates and so on. So that's what David Blackwelder and I are going to do is to try to go through our list of volunteers and find people that are in those areas and see if we can cajole them into helping out. And I put a list up on Mattermost of the localities that are affected. And so far, we do have a couple of them covered. We have Angier covered, for example, which is great because I wouldn't have no clue what to do with Angier. But it so happens that Sarah Brady lives in Angier, and she's volunteered to cover candidates, the Angier candidates. And we have Kerry covered because, in addition to D, Matthew Corden is also willing to help out. So that Kerry is very well covered. But there are like 9 others. So David and I have some work to do there in terms of recruiting. Longer term, we'd like to find someone to take over as volunteer coordinator who's not me or David, or David, you for that matter. So if anybody has any ideas there, please, don't be shy. And we have the meetup.com Durham LP situation. Oh, yeah, there's something I forgot to add to the new business thing. Okay. Well, there's two things to talk about. First is the meetup.com bill is due. And for the last, I don't know, 8 years or so, we've been dividing it up between us, Durham, and Orange based on proportionally how many libertarians there are in each county. However, Durham has disestablished itself. They no longer exist. They closed their committee. They can no longer spend money or collect money. So I have a meeting scheduled, I think, tomorrow night with Matt Clements and Sean Ha, our treasurer, to discuss how to handle that situation. It's not a big deal. It's only like $170 or $180, something like that. Um, but we need to figure out how to
Well,
handle it,
what exactly would be figured out
how to divide up that 180 or $170.
between us and Orange?
Yeah, I'm thinking that, we should,
80/20?
well, I'm thinking we should just do it based on the percentage of libertarians in those two counties. But I've got to get Matt to agree to that. So we'll see what
Okay.
he says.
Otherwise, I would just propose 80/20 if you would like to save like a lot of time and work. There's
Yeah,
just
it's
not that
not
many
much work.
libertarians in Orange County, so you might as well just ask Matt for $20 and pay
Yeah,
the
it'll be
rest out of
something like that.
Wake County. Yes, so
So
fair enough.
the other thing is that the Nation Builder have announced that they are withdrawing support for PayPal. Um, so this doesn't affect us greatly because 5 years ago, when they first started offering their own in-house service, we switched over because their in-house service handles recurring donations and one-time donations on the same page. And for some reason, with PayPal, you can't do that. So instead of having two separate, confusing uh, donation pages, we combined into one, and you can do either one time or recurring on the same page, which is the way it should be. Um, we still do have, however, I think we had a couple of dozen recurring donations in place then, and they were all PayPal because that's what we'd been using for 10 years before that. Um, and they grandfather those in and they continue to be serviced and appear automatically in our database. But as of December, that's not going to be true anymore. And we have seven of them remaining. So it appears that there's a migration facility that will transparently, uneven beknownst possibly to the donor, switch them over from PayPal to Stripe, which would be cool. So I have a meeting on Monday with folks from Nation Builder and uh, folks from the LPNC, possibly if they come, to figure out how that would work. And from what I've read of the documentation, it's not 100%. So, if you have like 10 or 100 donors, let's say, and you switch them over for 10 of them or whatever, it won't work. And you have to do, manual stuff and talk to the donor and get them to change their credit card or whatever. So, in our case, hopefully like 6 out of 7 will work and there'll be one person we have to deal with. So it's not a big deal for us. It's more of a big deal for the LPNC because since they've stuck with PayPal this whole time, all of their recurring donations, which is like 3 dozen, are PayPal. And those are not going to be serviced after December. If they don't do anything, they're going to have, if they want to keep their records up to date, they're going to have to manually enter each one of those 36 in every month. So that's probably a bad idea. So they should do the migration. Anyway, that's where that's at. Which is the fourth item that I should have listed under new business. Now, old business. Um, I don't know if David B, you have much to add on the welcome letters to Defrog Party registrants, other than the fact that we've sent most of them out, right?
Yeah, I mean, everything was sent out on, I guess, from what we divided. So I guess it's just kind of, is it worth sending out just letters to people, or should we focus on maybe instead of using the stamps for those people, maybe focus on sending stuff to our current members to try and raise money or something, or get attendance to meet up? Uh,
Right. Yeah.
that may be more of a better way to use it,
It's
is to send letters or postcards to our current members in Wake County to
Yeah. It's been
invite
about
them out.
3 weeks now. There has not been a sustained increase in registrations, although we did get a few that first week. So I don't think it was a huge success at least not tactically instantly in terms of getting results. No, I haven't had people knocking on the door at the meetups. So probably yes, probably it would be better to use that stuff for something else. Um, I mean, we have like another 2,400 no labels people that we could theoretically send this thing to. Um, but I agree with you that we should probably try to think of something more beneficial, and fundraising would be a good thing to aim at. Um, okay. Business meeting recordings posting on YouTube. Well, Marie's not here, I did not get a report from her as to what's going on there. My understanding is they're ready to roll, but they're still not on the YouTube channel, so I'm not quite sure where that's at. I'll follow up with her. Um, and the trifold reprint, well, it turned out to be a little more complicated than I imagined because the last time we reprinted our trifold apparently was under a different account. At some point in time, I must have changed the account from WakeLP to Intelligent, and so I don't have the that information about that reprint, and I have an inquiry into Club Flyers, but I don't actually have a contact there. There's no, nobody that I've dealt with. It's always been remote for me anyway, or maybe there's one guy that's no longer there. I'm not sure. Anyway, I don't have an answer yet as to what they would charge us for that. But I am pursuing it. It's not an emergency. We certainly have enough to get us through the state fair.
Who are you using?
Club Flyers?
You should be able to get a quote online in like 5 minutes.
Yes, but I'm hoping that because it's a reprint, that they have that stuff in place and can
Oh,
do
they
it.
just upload it. They won't give you a discount for a reprint. Club flyers, though, you want to wait for a holiday. So if you wait, if you can be cognizant enough to do it, if you wait till like Labor Day, they'll run some Labor Day sale.
Ah,
They
okay.
always do, and they'll offer you like 25% off or 30% off. So for
Okay.
whatever reason, they offer their discounts um, around holidays. I don't know why it functions like that, but I would just wait for a holiday discount, enter the promo code, and go. I can guarantee they don't give you any consideration for a reprint or being a great customer in the past or anything like that. They're just going to
Okay.
want you to. You're going to have to upload the two files new anyway
Yeah.
because they're
All
going
right.
to make you validate it that way. So,
Yeah. Makes
but
sense.
yeah.
Good. All right. Well, thank you for that. That's helpful information. That brings me to the end of my agenda. And anybody have anything else?
No, other than on that same topic, I would check. You got the state fair coming, right? So.
We have enough
uh,
supply for the state fair.
Okay, then you're good if that's all you need. So I was just gonna say, I know it's where you get burned is the you realize on October 15th that you're gonna be short 1,000 whatever. So
It's an LPNC event in theory, so we can use LPNC trifolds anyway.
yeah.
And they have a million of the old trifolds, and they also have new trifolds. So there's just no chance of us running out at the state fair. So, all right, great. In that case, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn from David Ulmer.
Second.
All in
All in favor?
favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Good job, gentlemen. That was a 32-minute meeting.
All right.
Even shorter than last time.
Yep.
Keep in mind that our next meeting is a week later than it's not September or whatever it is, the 7th. I think it's the 14th instead. Um, so, uh,
Okay. So I know we're adjourned, but do we agree that we could probably vote on like an event at On Point just online, right? We've always been
yes,
acceptable with
absolutely.
using the little collaboration tool. So
Correct. Yes,
fantastic.
I need to get you the dates and then we
Yep,
can
I've already
proceed.
sent you an email reminder there, and
Thank you.
so we'll get that done, and I will have an email to you, an example email, very quickly here in the next 10 or 15 minutes.
Sounds like a plan. Good
All right.
stuff. All
Thank
right,
you, everyone.
guys.
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
Yep. Bye bye.
Bye bye now.
Have a good one.